Check, 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 check. One.
That went through.
Ooh, this is part 1 of Ghostbustings.
Is that what the podcast is called now?
Soundcheck Ghostbustings.
Ghostbusting.
Oh, so when did you guys want to go to Ghostbusters? Friday or
Crickets.
Saturday?
Anytime.
It should still be in theaters.
mean,
No one hates
shut
it
the
that
windows.
much.
Like if, like maybe a matinee would be okay.
Sure.
Better.
Yeah, this movie is not worth full price. Just throwing that out there.
What? It is.
Well, at this point, okay.
If you're
okay.
a fan of Paul Feig,
Okay, how about this? Then?
Kristen, I heard it say wig, not wig.
Yeah.
Wig.
Well, there's two eyes.
So it's like the Nintendo Wii.
Yep.
Kristen Wiig. Kate McKinnon. McCarthy. Melissa McCarthy. Yeah. Leslie Jones. Holla.
Well, okay.
The best part of
you trying to holler at Leslie Jones? You like that?
Did you not mention Chris Hemsworth as well?
Oh yeah, Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, I could see how he could be annoying,
Yeah.
but he wasn't like.
He was okay. He was a hit and miss at the same time. It was like
Yes.
yeah. He was its strength and its weakness at the same time.
Yeah, I didn't know what they were trying to go for. with him.
Exactly.
But I mean, he's just minor.
He had
mean,
well,
well,
not really. He's a pretty.
I don't want to give out any
character.
more for Crate just because I don't want to spoil it. But it's funny. It's so funny. Leslie Jones is so funny. She's my favorite Ghostbuster.
Really?
This one, yeah. And then comes
You're
in
kind of a
Kate
rarity.
McKinnon.
You're kind of a rare on that one. I think most
She's-
people act like either like McKinnon or they like
McKinnon was good for sure, but the jokes. Well, I don't know if she told a lot of jokes. It was just her character. It was just
yeah,
funny.
it's her
in the situation.
eccentric behavior.
Yes, yeah. I want to say she was loud, but
She was
a lot of
flamboyant. She was flamboyant is the best way to put it. She was very out there. Because she was like it wasn't so much of the words; it was just more of her gestures, her physical.
You think she'd be
language.
more flamboyant than Kristen Wiig's character?
McKinnon?
Well,
Yeah.
they weren't very concerned with looks, makeup, and your typical what have you nots of women.
Where did we leave off earlier regarding like the movie, like how what was it? The okay, so
The buoyancy,
the buoyancy.
flamboyancy.
Buoyancy and flamboyancy, two very different things.
How does this movie keep afloat?
Yes, exactly. That's actually what I thought you meant. That would actually be a good film term. Should use it. How was the buoyancy of this film?
It went up and down.
Did it
was a
stay
very
afloat?
rocky ride. It was a very
Did it
rocky
sink?
ride.
Okay, so as a Ghostbusters movie, as a remake,
No. Hold on. You have to stop that as a Ghostbusters movie. Okay, that's where it, like
But it's-
it's not a good movie. It's
as a
very
Ghostbusters
terrible
movie?
Well, we're taking into consideration the previous movies, right? The things, the
No,
strengths
I
and
can't.
weaknesses.
You can't compare it.
Yeah,
to the
no,
first one.
yeah. You can't
But
compare it.
you can call it a Ghostbusters movie
Why?
because it is a Ghostbusters movie.
They
It says
bust ghosts.
They bust ghosts.
I mean, no, yeah. As a standalone Ghostbusters movie, yeah, okay, it
It's
works.
good.
It's all right.
Yeah, okay, what are the bad parts of the movie?
The all over the place script, like,
Yeah.
I mean, there's just a lot of jumps that happen that like make it seem like okay, this should take maybe a week, maybe a month, you know, like that sort of thing. But all of a sudden, like you kind of find out, oh, this is all within the span of like what, a day?
I see.
Like, I mean, the time it takes,
With-
like, one of the criticisms is definitely the time it takes McKinnon's character to make the equipment.
I mean, really, if you're good in your field,
That's how genius
Yes.
she is.
that's how I don't think people are working fast. And I mean, sure, it's I guess maybe
she knows what she's doing.
But then you gotta consider, like, a lot of times when they bring up the old equipment, they're saying it's a prototype. They're saying, you know, it's this and that. That it's like it's what it is. You know, like there's nothing else but this.
yeah.
And so that's why all of a sudden she comes out with something that's so far advanced from that original prototype
That's how
that
good
it's
she
like
is.
within a span of, again, what seemed to be a day.
Well, I like to think she had all this stuff, like she's all these things, all these prototypes are things she's been working on already, and I guess you know it's more like it just needed a fixer upper, or I found a part for it to work now and do what I want.
I guess, but I mean, we're not talking about like putting together some like shelf, you know, like we're talking about something that's like nuclear here. We're talking about
Again, this is her
Yes,
field.
yes, because
These
I know
are
from
scientists.
experience, a shelf takes an entire day to build. It takes all fucking day.
It says
Well,
shelf.
not a shelf, a dresser. Fuck.
Drawer C is
Fuck.
missing. Where is this C? C
Fucking-
drawer.
Fucking dressers.
I only got A and B drawers. I don't have C. No, but if that's
Well, I mean, that's just one complaint, yeah. I mean, had we just watched the movie, I definitely would have a lot more better memory as far as like what
But
was
I
good
mean,
and
like-
bad about this movie. But
it's so
Or what
fast
was.
paced that I'm sure it seemed like what would take weeks or months to build. I'm sure it just doesn't really show that way.
yeah, so that's why. But then the thing is,
But
this
in-
movie doesn't
In,
timeline itself.
in Ghostbusters, it's like those proton packs were already built, and
And they never did. They didn't use.
they didn't
anything
have to
but
go
that.
into details.
Well, see,
about-
that was also it got away with it because they only used that stuff. You know what I mean? They didn't invent new things.
So people didn't like how she built other gadgets
No,
like
no, no.
so
It's not so
quickly.
much. It's not so much that it's yeah, the quickly part. Like it's a sense of disbelief. You know, like I mean, it takes you out of things because it's like you have to have some degree of reality. You know, in your movies, some degree.
Sure, but I mean, she's not building like a tank or an
She's
entire
building something
building.
nuclear.
Just
She's
little
building-
gadgets.
She's building something that no one
These
else
are-
in the entire world.
And that's what makes
has
it
built.
different. Because if you're a scientist, you gotta work fast, and if you're gonna fight ghosts, waiting for the ghost apocalypse, you gotta have stuff ready.
Oh man! But they didn't know there was an apocalypse. This was all before all
But I
of
mean,
that.
well, we see their lab,
Yeah,
right? All this stuff is in there.
Yeah.
All this shit
yeah.
has been half made, stuff that's not completed, and it's a lot of shit that they have in that room.
Yeah.
And then when they start finally getting the ball rolling on this whole, now we know what we're dealing with. Okay, I can adjust these little mechanisms I've already had partially built and kind of, okay, a little screw here, a little part there,
Keep hitting your wire.
double D40. Okay, I can fix it. Now I got a device that can grind ghosts.
Okay.
I mean, so what if it... Really, who cares if it does? It didn't take her a while. She's just genius, and that's why her character is so cool. She's a little wacko because there's a lot of
needs
stuff going on up
reality?
there.
There is.
If her acting in SNL is any indication, yeah, there is definitely a lot.
I
going
could
on.
definitely see like, I mean, is her character in Ghostbusters kind of like her general kind of?
like her style.
Yeah.
Like McKinnon's style. Yeah, definitely.
Because I haven't seen any SNL skits of her.
Oh, I mean, she's not like the way she portrays.
They're
her-
pretty much the same.
Yeah, like the way that they portray her in Ghostbusters is like an introvert, like, you know, a very like socially awkward person. Yeah, so they portray her character in Ghostbusters as like a socially awkward introvert kind of thing. But the way she does her comedy and such is relatively similar. It's not, but then except it's not an introvert. She's just socially awkward.
Okay. Well, another upgrade with this movie is the action portion.
Yeah,
the
that I'll
Ghostbusting.
admit to. That one I will
Like,
absolutely give you.
A lot more use of the proton pack, whereas the first two movies is them just running around
Yeah.
With
the
the
biggest,
music.
And the biggest like payoff is crossing the streams, you know.
Right, and then they only had that beginning part with the Scolari brothers gave him the child.
Oh, you're talking about the second movie.
Yeah. Well, see, that was the biggest.
I was like the first one. I was
Okay,
like,
first one.
"And the flowers are still standing."
Oh, right. Oh, yes. They'll be very discreet. That was like the main one, the main fight, and then you had a lot of running around.
Yeah. Well,
And
but
then
that's
you
all
had-
That's all the special effects they could afford.
Yeah, I mean, well, you gotta also think about the time too. I mean, movies back then didn't have like big time choreographed special fights, you know. Like, I mean, think about Star Wars. Episode 4, 5, and 6 had nothing like the prequels as far as action.
No way!
What?
There's so much more action.
No. I meant what? Wait. Are you talking about?
All 3 movies.
No. The prequels.
They had more, if not the same amount of action as the prequels.
No. We're talking about choreographed kind of thing, though. You know, like the whole like, you know, like in say take Episode 3 for example, the Obi-Wan and the Anakin Skywalker fight.
Oh, okay.
That, like, or even the General Grievous and Obi-Wan fight, or the Dooku and Anakin and Obi-Wan and Yoda. You know, like
Okay, we're just talking about Jedis then. The whole beginning of A New Hope. You had the attack on the Death Star
Wait, beginning of New Hope.
when they boarded the ship.
Oh, so gunfights kind of thing.
Action in
Shootouts.
general. Yeah.
Oh,
everything.
okay. So you're
But
talking
I
about-
could see what you're saying about more believable.
No.
fight scenes? Is that what you're going with that?
What I was going at with was more like they didn't have the same quality of action scenes back then as we do now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because
I
like think
understand what
about
you're
like the Jedi fights, for example, in Star Wars. They didn't fucking twirl their blades the whole time, the lightsabers, I mean, as they were like unnecessarily doing so in the prequels, you know? So that's why it's like action to the degree that we have now, so in the new Ghostbusters, for example, is not something you would ever have seen back in the 80s.
Well, I'm thinking with those Ghostbusters too. I mean, it was supposed to be more comedy, I'm guessing, than action.
Yeah. Or
So
it was,
I mean,
it
I
was-
could see
yeah.
why it's supposed to be more funny than it is Ghostbusting. I think it was a little bit more action.
It was definitely more
But-
comedy.
It was
Definitely more aimed at comedy.
Yeah, because it was a lot more funnier too. It was a lot more funnier. Yo, Leslie Jones.
Still trying to holler.
Oh,
And
man.
proton pack action. And it wasn't just proton packs. They had a lot of other cool devices in there too. And there was like maybe two big fight scenes
In the new one?
in the new one. Yeah,
Well, there's the finale.
finale,
And
and then that one right before, right?
which one?
The one with all the clowns. They
that
had
was all part of the final scene.
final.
though.
Oh, okay. Well, they were much longer too then.
Yeah. That final scene. Was
Oh,
like
and the one with the
entire
dragon in the heavy metal concert.
That wasn't an action scene.
I mean, there was some, but that was probably the most fun
See,
scene.
okay. So this is what I was telling you earlier, though. The
You saw this in the
trailers,
trailer.
Yes. The trailers killed.
You should only
everything about
watch
this movie
one
for me.
trailer then. One trailer per movie.
And that's the Resident Evil.
That's the entire movie right there.
That's the only trailer you need
Because
to watch.
like, I'm dead serious about that. If
That's
like,
crazy. I'm glad I didn't see the trailers in. I don't know if I would have been more upset and realized, oh, every good thing in the movie was in the trailer.
Well, it really depends because like when you watch the movie, like do you block out like you're just watching the movie. You're not thinking about anything else but watching this movie. Like you're not recalling the trailers. Oh, I saw this in the trailer. None of that goes through.
Just
your
the
mind.
part where she says the power of
Oh shit! What was her name? Patty.
compels you. Like I remember that part, but then it was like everything before and then after was like sort of new.
Yeah.
So it didn't really take away like, oh, that was the highest point of.
Well, I mean, to be honest though, that scene with the whole slapping the ghost down and all that, like,
yeah.
I didn't think that was that funny. Like, I really didn't.
Oh.
Like, even in the trailer, you know, when I showed it to you guys that first time,
Yeah.
like, yeah, that scene, you guys were laughing. I was like, I don't think that's that funny.
I mean, there are other parts to make up for it.
Oh yeah, definitely. That's why this movie had its ups and it had its downs.
It's more up than down. Definitely more up. The only down part was when the movie finished.
Really?
And I was like, oh man. But actually,
Wait.
you get to stay through the whole thing.
Yeah. Did you like that credit scene? I didn't care for it.
I mean, it was okay. I mean,
I didn't mind the extra scenes.
yeah.
But the dance segment, I didn't care for that.
Oh yeah. I'm wondering if they showed that just because,
They didn't want to show it in the main
like,
movie
just so yeah, you get some, I guess, clarity.
of the goofiness of the whole thing.
I guess what happened, I guess during, like while something else is happening, that
Yeah.
probably was happening, and it kind of just,
Yeah.
oh, this was what was going on
Yeah.
during that. So
Like,
I mean, it's not necessary, but I mean, it got us to stay towards all the way to the end.
yeah.
Like,
I mean, well, I kind of wish we had seen it tonight. I kind of wish we had seen it tonight. Then we can have a much better discussion on this matter. Because in that way, Creighton can chime in as well. So,
Ghostbusted.
because like I said, I'm not saying it's a terrible movie. I mean, well. Wait.
Let me walk
retract
that back.
Let me retract that a little bit.
It is
What
not. It's
Did
not.
you
It's not.
either
Not a
hate it or you
terrible-
love it?
No. It's not. See, that's another thing too. Is that when it comes to a lot of these movies, it's not black and white. It's not a hate. You have to love it or you have to hate it. It's never any of that. It's always based on perspective. So that's why I was telling you, I went in with both perspectives in mind. From the fan expecting a quality Ghostbusters movie or like a Ghostbusters kind of thing that we're used to, be it like based on say the movies previously or like the real Ghostbusters, the cartoon from the 90s, like be it any of that kind of thing.
It has to be just a movie by itself.
Yeah. So that's where the second perspective came in. That's where I had to watch it from a clean slate. So someone that like barely knows anything about the Ghostbusters and someone that like or or maybe just doesn't know anything about them at all. Like I'm going in not even expecting anything out of this movie.
So I want to say, what was Bill Murray,
He was
Harold Ramis,
yeah.
Dan Aykroyd, and Ernie Hudson before Ghostbusters? They're coming off of, I'm guessing, Stripes. Was the first Meatballs out already?
I don't know actually. When did the first Ghostbusters come out? Was it 87?
84.
84.
We weren't born yet. I remember.
I was born probably.
when it came out. Okay, right. So Stripes, Groundhogs.
No, Groundhog Day is
No,
after
I know.
84, I think.
Because was he still on SNL? No, right?
No, I think he left by
He's
like,
already done already.
Yeah.
Right? Meatballs came out in 79. Caddyshack came out in 80. Stripes in 81. I didn't see Tootsie. It's like, you think when Ghostbusters came out, people were like, oh, this is a ghost version, another version of Stripes.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Like, do you think they got flack for it?
Well,
Thinking,
it wasn't.
it's not going to be...
I think it actually did well. Like I think it was received
as well. So do you think like with this Ghostbusters, people were like, "Oh, it's Bridesmaids with proton
Well,
packs"?
it's Fig, man.
I mean, it's the
Like,
same director.
the same like tone to it. Like it feels like it's a chick flick. Like it really does.
But see, like Stripes too, they didn't even take the military seriously, and they didn't really take Ghostbusting testing seriously.
And
Well,
then
Bateman,
they
did he
saved
take
the world.
right? And then he's like, as a scientist, what kind of work do you do?
Right. You're like, Bill Murray, a scientist, really?
Well, that's why they kind of. Well, I mean, that's
What
why.
kind of work do you do here?
Well, I mean, that's why his character was like kind of a joke in the movie. Like his normal profession. I mean, he was the psychic world thing. It's
Right.
like.
And Stripes is the same director as Ivan Reitman. Ivan Reitman. Okay, we see parallels here.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to think people just need to relax.
No,
and
I absolutely.
We'll watch
agree.
this movie again, and you
will love it.
and you will fall in love. Leslie Jones. What is that? I think it's Les Dog at Les Dog.
She's not on Twitter anymore.
No, she's back on.
Oh, she came back.
She came back after like 3 days because the world needs her.
Because she's in Rio now because of her tweeting.
Oh.
She was tweeting from home during the Olympics, and then they brought her in.
Why?
To be funny, to provide commentary.
Color.
Not, I mean, no pun intended.
Yeah.
Les Dog. LESDO triple G. And that's
triple G.
She got that blue check, so it's official. Yeah. DOGGG.
G.
Yeah, 3 G's. Les Dog.
Well,
she is the star of the Ghostbusters. And the tallest one.
Yeah.
So she dominates.
I mean, like, she had funny scenes. Like, there's no doubt about that. But, like...
She was funny. She was the best
There's
part.
so much anger coming on.
No, that's not anger. She's funny.
Sounds like you're arguing that point, then letting it be fact.
She was the funniest part of that movie.
Because, I mean, like, yeah, like, McKinnon's character, I can never remember their names. Like, the,
Holtzman.
That was McKinnon's one.
Yes, Holtzman.
Like, her eccentric behavior was a little too cartoony for me.
So it's Abby Yates, McCarthy, Aaron Gilbert, Weeg, Jillian Holtzman, McKinnon, Patty Tolan.
I already forgot, like, all the characters you just said.
Okay, Yates, Gilbert, Holtzman, Tolan.
I don't know who any of them were.
Okay, so you got Bateman, you got Winston, Egon. Ray Stansman? Stans. Ray Stans. You said Ray. But yeah, I mean, see? So yeah, you got those... Paul Feig was meant to direct this movie.
Oh, man. The amount of hate that would come at your way for that one.
What? Hate? And I would swing it back. Bunt it back. Bunt.
You're going to hate the movie, and that's where the terrible part comes in.
If you're going, comparing it to the original.
Yeah, or even the animated series, to be honest.
You don't compare the two.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that people do that because it's a franchise. You know, like
it is.
It's going off of the name. That'd be like you going Star Wars or Star Trek for that matter, and all of a sudden, like, I don't know, you're doing sports.
Let me ask this question to you: if it didn't use the name Ghostbusters at all, would you kind of drop that part of the argument and
then I'd just go with that clean
it?
slate apart and just say it was an okay movie.
Okay.
That's why, like I said, I went in with two perspectives. I went from the...
Well, but see, if you drop the Ghostbusters, then you gotta drop everything else that makes it a Ghostbusters movie.
So drop the cameos.
The cameos
the
have
cameos
nothing...
can go. In my opinion, the cameos can go.
They can, but I mean, they're not canon to the previous movie. You know, they don't go in as, we can't ruin it. But you have an idea who is in there already. But... I mean, regardless, if they don't go in as their previous characters, it really doesn't matter if they're in there or not. And
it absolutely does matter because it's like, why would they be there to begin with otherwise? You know, like what purpose do they have that any other actor could have served? Fan service. That's the only reason they're there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
sure, but I mean, like, you take those characters out, and it doesn't really affect the story itself.
Exactly. So why are they there?
Just because they're royalty. They are royalty.
But they have nothing to do with this universe, so why have them?
Well, as actors, they're just playing a small bit part, really.
But why are they there? For fan service, right?
For fan service?
Yes.
Whatever. It doesn't really matter, I don't think. They could have had anybody else, for sure. But
absolutely.
That part, it doesn't matter, really. I don't think it affects anything. In there or not, it's just whatever.
Well,
but and everything else. So if you drop, you got to take out the proton packs, ecto, the fire station.
Yeah.
Everything.
They can all go. They can all go.
And then, so you take all that out. I mean, yeah, it's just, it wouldn't be Ghost. I mean, there's no sense of making it another movie, really.
Think about this then. Look at how much positives you gave to the new equipment, the stuff that was never in the previous movies or shows or whatever. Think about all that praise you gave that. They could have stood alone, technically, without the proton packs to begin with.
As a Ghostbusters movie?
Yeah.
Or
Not as a Ghostbusters movie, but we're saying like if they had taken out the entire the Ghostbuster name, if it had been a different title. So in other words, they had to take out the proton pack, they had to take out the cameos, they had to take out everything that had anything to do with the previous movie.
Yeah, and so it'd be just a different movie.
No, it could still be the same movie. It's just you just have to remove all the cameos, all the terminologies, like all the names. I think.
It still would have been an excellent movie, I feel.
Like I said, I would have said it was just okay in that case.
But see, then there would have been no real reason to see it. I mean, only way because
it has good actresses or actors. I don't know.
Because I didn't go and watch Bridesmaids after all that. I still haven't seen all of it yet.
The Heat.
Yes, everything. I still haven't seen it. But, I mean, yeah, for me to go and see this movie because it was a remake of Ghostbusters, yes. That's the only reason why. And it was a successful remake.
No, it wasn't because they didn't make enough movie to make a sequel. Enough money to make.
If it wasn't called Ghostbusters, if it didn't have proton packs, those cameos, I probably wouldn't have gone to see it.
Yeah.
I probably would have, if anything, Redbox.
Yeah, because it's not strong enough to stand alone.
I guess. Then don't remake the fucking movie. Then don't remake it. Just change it into Bridesmaids 2 Ghost Attack Manhattan.
So that's why. Like, I'm not saying it's a terrible movie unless you're looking at it from, again, the fan's perspective, which is not something you should do. I agree with you on that. It's not something you should do, but you're gonna do it because it follows the name, it follows the franchise, or it's following in the footsteps in the franchise.
You can call it a reboot of a franchise with a remake of the original. That's how you have to choose your words carefully. Reboot of a franchise with a remake of the original. So you can say Star Wars Force Awakens is a reboot of the Star Wars franchise with a sequel. It's a sequel after Return.
Right.
After Attack of the Clones, New Hope, Empire, Return, and then Force Awakens. Well, actually, I don't know how it works with Heir to the Empire. I did not finish that book, but it probably takes place after that.
I don't think that's canon though.
Yeah, they say it's canon, or it's not. I guess not, but I think it takes place like maybe 15 years after the first one. I'm not sure.
So yeah. So anyway, that's. I guess we should probably continue
with part 2 next week. Sometime later. Go watch Ghostbusters. Sound check off.